Slash that mediocre sports show, soon to be great. Never.
Never. It will never be great. It will always be mediocre.
Why are we wearing shirts with sevens on them?
Triple sevens make for a good slot machine
Or
or a mediocre sports show.
a biblical thing, I think.
It could be a biblical thing.
There is a biblical. I don't. Oh, you look like the emperor.
I look like Emperor Mecklenburg.
It is.
Just call me Emperor Mecklenburg
That
for
is
this
Mecklenburg
video.
jerseys. This is an Elway jersey.
Classic Broncos.
Classic.
Great Broncos.
We are talking about.
I met this guy once
He
next to a Lincoln Navigator.
He was in front of me once at an ATM
He's gigantic.
about 20 years ago. Yeah, but you know what mostly was gigantic? The money he took out compared to the money I took out. You know, those things will let you take...
I'm sitting there going, this won't let me just have $5? I can't take 20 out. I'll drain my bank account.
I think I got 40 and he just kept 20s. I'm like, oh my God.
It's like, dude, shouldn't you be going somewhere else?
Anyway,
Okay.
the show is about teams that surprised us in the AFC this year. That's this week's show. And I'm going to start out by saying I am surprised how poorly the Broncos have played, yet are 7-0. And I also would like to point out that Randy, on one of our shows...
That hasn't aired yet. Or ever will air.
Probably never air, but I'm going to point out, Randy picked on our season previews, which got lost somewhere in YouTube land, the Patriots not even to make the playoffs. I think they are now 7-0.
So you can imagine my surprise that they're undefeated. I am totally shocked that the Patriots are undefeated because I didn't think they'd make the playoffs this year.
And you can hear.
So I am shocked.
You can hear about one of my crappy picks in the NFC side.
That's right. When we do the NFC side, we'll do your crappy pick, but mine is worse, much worse.
Okay, and so we could do that.
My hatred for Bill Belichick runs deep.
But
I'm totally shocked they're going to make the playoffs. I'm just shocked. I'm just shocked that the Buffalo Bills aren't better.
He did pick the Buffalo Bills to be
better. I
better.
picked the Buffalo Bills to be better.
I'll tell you the team I think that surprised me the most in the AFC this year, and not in a good way, and that is the Baltimore Ravens.
Yes.
They absolutely suck. If they're, you know how Charles Barkley says terrible? Well, there's sucker roll. There's your sucker roll.
It's like I thought you wanted to go with the word horrible.
Yeah, the new word's horrible. They're horrible.
They're totally horrible.
I don't know how you become that, how they did that, but they are like one win. And
They got two.
They got two?
They got two.
They snuck that one into the
They
wire.
did sneak that. They did sneak that one in there. Snick.
Okay, so anyway, that's probably my biggest surprise. I did expect Miami to be a little better, but I'm not terribly surprised.
No.
I am totally surprised in the Bengals. I am totally surprised. I'm not surprised at the Patriots. I'm not really surprised at the Broncos. And, I mean, it's great that they're winning, but I don't think they surprised me. I'd have to say it's the... And I'm surprised the Colts suck.
I'm not surprised that the Broncos are winning. I'm just surprised with how they're winning. The defense has won us like 5 out of these 7 games. It's been defense that has won us these games.
7 out of these 7.
That could be true.
I'm not even giving the offense credit. They were terrible.
But that's the main surprise, that Peyton Manning has looked so bad. He looked pretty good in that Green Bay game.
By the way, did you ever call Rolf and give him crap?
No, I never.
We missed that opportunity.
We did miss that opportunity. I think he wouldn't have answered our calls. I think he
That's an awesome plan. We wait a week
and then do it.
We'll call him on Monday.
Later.
We'll call him on Monday.
And what'd you think of that Green Bay Denver game?
That's
come back at you later. That's so mean.
Yeah, we will. We'll do that. Okay.
But I'm just surprised with how Denver's winning. The defense looks really good. They look like one of those defenses that could carry a team all the way to the championship.
Be a special defense, maybe?
I think it is a special defense.
No, it could be. I
think they're every bit as good as that Seattle defense that railed us 2 years ago.
Yeah, I don't like talking.
You know, it's like we have at all 3 tiers, there are good players. You got good with Derek Wolfe and Sylvester Williams on the line. You got linebackers like DeMarcus Ware, Shane Ray, Shaq Barrett, Von Miller, Trevathan. Very good linebackers. We're doing really good with those. Then you've got Talib and Harris and Roby and Ward in the
We are very good. We are very good. I think we're the best.
So many good players on that defense.
We are the best defense in the NFL.
It's a great defense, and if we win a championship, we should basically thank that defense. That'll be our Ravens or Seahawk defense. I don't think they're as good as the '85 Bears.
No. Well,
that was a special defense.
That was very special, but hold on. You know what? 2001 Ravens defense was special.
They got Trent Dilfer a championship. I guess you could call them
They got
specials.
Trent. That is like them. That would be like Cleveland getting Manziel a championship.
Oh, well, that's not going to happen. But,
That's. I mean, this defense, you have to win the championship. Because we've talked about this. The best defense, one of the best defenses of all time, not to get off sidetrack, was the Denver Broncos of '77. Didn't win a championship.
No, their offense wasn't able to do it.
Their offense gave the ball up seven times.
That's what worries you, is that this offense might not be capable of putting up enough points for a defense when they face a superior offensive team.
And
we still got to face the Patriots. We still got to face the Bengals.
Patriots are no problem. They're not even going to make the playoffs.
I'm still shocked that they're 7-0. That's I'm just going to throw that out there. I didn't think they'd make the playoffs, so I'm totally shocked that they haven't been beaten 6 times already. I thought for sure they'd be 1-6 at this point.
I think you picked Buffalo to win that division.
I picked Buffalo to win that division. I did. I picked Buffalo, and then the Jets, and then Miami, and then I had New England at 2-14. That's where I think they should have been.
He didn't have them at 2-14, but he did have them not making the playoffs, and I, for one, find that.
Well, that's what I'm surprised at. I will give you this as a surprise team for me, the Buffalo Bills. The Buffalo Bills last year had a very good defense. So I thought with Rex Ryan coming in there with his defensive mind that a very good defense would be even better. So I thought, and they always say championship defense wins championships. So I thought, okay, with a great defense, all you got to do is have an offense that's halfway capable. And
mediocre.
That team, even just mediocre. But it's like I thought that for sure it's like Brady's now another year older. It's like I didn't think he'd be on the Revenge Tour Part 2 after Spygate. Now he's on, now deflate. The thing is, stop accusing the Patriots of anything. It just pisses off Brady.
Yeah,
stop accusing them.
Thank God.
And if they do cheat, don't point it out.
Don't point it out. Just
they
don't. Play way better.
They play way better when you catch them, and then they have to do things by the rules.
By the rules, they play better.
This is the only people that suck worse when they cheat.
Yeah, that's true.
It's like they lose games when they cheat, but when they
remind me of
they lose games when
Boris
they don't.
and Natasha,
yeah.
or anybody that faced underdog in those old cartoons. They didn't have to be crooks to win.
No,
but they did and sucked. They sucked at cheating. They sucked at cheating.
It's like, I'm very disappointed. I'm very disappointed that
Thank
Buffalo
God.
was not better. The Indianapolis Colts, you're right. The Indianapolis Colts are a total shock. This team has lost games it shouldn't have. Andrew Luck has looked really bad. The offensive line is basically the same offensive line they had last year. But the problem was they signed old free agents. Frank Gore, who has a ton of yards and a ton of
mileage.
Yeah, big-time mileage. Not to mention they also signed Andre Johnson. He's been injury-prone the last few years. He's an old wide receiver as well. And you didn't help Andrew Luck by bringing in old guys to a team that needed a little bit more spark.
I almost said he couldn't get Gino Lyon in another country.
Don't say that. But those are the teams I'm kind of surprised with the Colts. I like Andrew Luck. I don't have a problem with him.
I think he's a great quarterback.
He's a very good quarterback.
quarterback.
He's not elite yet. He hasn't proven to be elite.
You can't do it. We did a show on elite. It's not elite.
It's elite. You have to be one of the top 3 or 4. Peyton Manning is no longer elite.
Nope. You have to make people better around you. And throughout history, handfuls have done it in each generation of quarterbacks. Your Tarkingtons, your Staubachs, I don't want to include Bradshaw because he had great players. I mean, he had a great offensive line.
Yeah, I mean, Bradshaw did. Bradshaw had a lot of greatness around him. That steel curtain defense.
But anyway,
was consistently. I mean, you look at the Ravens defense. You look at that '85 Bears defense. Those defenses had like one magical year. Those steel curtain defenses were great for a decade.
Well, and they really were. Just because you didn't win the championship doesn't mean you weren't great. It does.
Well, but you saw that Bears defense fall off the table almost after the '85 season.
What happened? They could have won it in '84. They did win it. Well, the '85. They could have won it in '85. I believe it's like the '85 Super Bowl. But anyway, the '85 Bears could have been good. Were good in '84. Could have been great in '84. And to be honest, the next year they lost Wilbur Marshall because he left after the Super Bowl, whatever. But they still.
And then he went to Washington.
And where he
sucked.
I don't want to say sucked.
He wasn't very good in Washington.
He was horrible. But I will say that Chicago Bears defense was good enough to at least get to 3 Super Bowls. I mean, even if they hadn't won them, and I think they should have won them, but they got to 1, and they really were together long enough that they should have gotten to 3. They were really good, and the Ravens defense in 2001, they should have got to another one as good as they were.
Well, and it's possible. It's possible, but the thing is, when you win a Super Bowl, you are then gunned for the next year, and it's usually very tough to even make it back into the Super Bowl again for the next season, which makes what the Patriots are doing. Everybody's gunning for it, but it seems like the Patriots kind of turned it around on everybody and said, well, we're gunning for the NFL.
Well,
and anybody who's in the NFL is screwed because Brady's angry.
I blame the Colts for that, by the way.
Andrew Luck, it wasn't Andrew Luck's fault, but I do blame the Colts. Ron Irsay is an idiot. I'm just going to say it. I can't stand the mad tweeter. He's just nuts. It's like he's an awful owner. He hasn't given Andrew...
His name isn't Ron, is it?
Huh?
Is his name Ron? I don't think his name's Ron.
No, his name's not Ron. It's not Ron Irsay. He's the kid Ron Irsay's kid is now the owner.
Okay, yeah.
And he's terrible. Just terrible.
Terrible.
But as for, the AFC, Cincinnati doesn't surprise me that they're in the lead in the division. They surprise me that Dalton is actually leading their team on fourth quarter comebacks.
And he's a ginger.
No offense to any
gingers who might watch this.
That game where he came back on Seattle, Seattle defense, Dalton has not had a history of being able to come back on anybody. And he came back on a pretty good defense. Now, is it the same defense it was 2 years ago? No. But it's still a good defense.
You know what? They're not getting blown out.
No, they're not getting blown out.
I'll tell you, the difference is, an elite quarterback. You sign a quarterback to $100 million who is not elite. He is good. He's not elite. Russell Wilson's not elite.
We'll talk about Seattle on the other one. We're talking about Cincinnati.
You said Seattle's defense. I didn't bring it up.
I know, but you kept going. Don't keep going.
Well, I do that. You don't do that. You don't throw me shit like
that.
But
that's the thing. Is like we're gonna sit there and say Cincinnati's a surprise. They're undefeated.
Okay, let's do this. Stop with the surprises. What do you think? I'll be surprised if anyone watches this. What do you think will happen? Who's going to end up in the playoffs? Let's just do that. That's easy. We already know 3.
We basically know New England, Cincinnati, Denver. We know that. Indianapolis plays in the weakest division in football right now, so I think they're going to win by default because Houston, Tennessee, and Jacksonville are not going to catch them.
Does that mean that Pagano keeps his job?
I think Pagano is going to end up, at some point, he's going to get fired in the middle of the season. I think that they're going to keep their head above water, but this team is capable of more.
Okay. So you've got who you got going? We got Cincinnati, we have New England, and we have Denver.
And Indianapolis.
And Indianapolis. Those are your 4. So now you just get what, 2 wild cards?
You get 2 wild cards. And I'm telling you right now, the team that's scaring the hell out of me that's good is the Oakland Raiders. They're playing a lot better than even I thought. I thought they'd win 6 or 7 games. They look like they might win 8 or 9, which might make the playoffs in the AFC. But I'm not going to pick them. I'm telling you, that team. Right now, this is not a goofy one. 8 or 9 wins is what the Raiders will probably do this season. I think they're better than San Diego, and they're better than Kansas City, and I think they'll beat those teams.
San Diego's 2-6. Did you know that?
San Diego's awful, but I'm not surprised by that. They're unreliable.
Horrible, not awful.
They're horrible.
We couldn't.
But it's like they're not a reliable team. They've been unreliable for years. Phillip Rivers is a pretty good quarterback, but he's not elite. But he's being paid like an elite.
He's got 7 kids.
But he won't quit. He's not a guy who quits and gives up and pouts. But
he'll never stop having kids.
But he keeps coming. Yeah, no, he'll never stop having kids.
Well, this is funny stuff.
But right now, I'm not going to really go too much on a limb on the wild cards, and we got to wrap this up here pretty quick.
Okay, well, I can wrap it up very easily. I will pick the same division winners. Wild cards. You know what? I still got to go back to. There won't be 2 in the AFC West, but I do think you'll get one in Pittsburgh's. I think Pittsburgh's got a chance at getting the wild card still. And I really can't think of anybody in the AFC who could get it.
That's what I'm saying. Oakland could be, because it's like you either have the AFC East with Buffalo, the Jets, maybe the Jets.
You know what? I'm going to take the Jets. That's really good. Thank you for tapping my little head here. A little buffer thing was going around in my brain.
I'm going to go Oakland and the Jets. How about that? I'm going to take Oakland and the Jets.
And that is the wackadoodle AFC. Now, next week's show. God, we have so much time I can do this. Next week's show will be the NFC, to which you could see a lot of the same stuff behind us, but it will be a brand new week. And we're out!
Bye!